Chat, how did we get to the point where AEW is all over the place? How did we get to the point where AEW's attendance is less than 3,000 for an episode of Dynamite? How did we get to the point where Collision and Rampage are now seeing record low numbers? Dynamite is seeing record low numbers. This is not me being a dickhead. This is me just being very honest about the situation at hand. AEW lost a lot of steam when CM Punk left the company. They did. CM Punk left the company and everything else started to fall apart. I have said this so many times all week on my live streams. I said, guys, 2024 has been pretty good for AEW storyline wise. The issue with AEW is that they're not always consistent. I'm watching last night's Dynamite episode. MJF, Daniel Garcia, incredible. Hangman Page and Swerve, the greatest segment the company has ever had. But everything else just simply doesn't matter at all. When Cody Rhodes first left AEW, I talked about it being live. I said, Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, you can tell there's a very huge difference in the way that the company is producing storylines and doing their TV show and the way they handle business. It was very obvious. That was the first strike. That was the first thing that really, really hurt AEW. It rocked them. But AEW figured it out. Then we get to a part where CM Punk has a feud, backstage fight with the Elite. And everything freaking changes. Everything changes. But then we get to a point last year at All In, 80,000 seats. CM Punk gets in a fight with Jack Perry. AEW fired CM Punk and they decided to build around Jack Perry. Now, I just want somebody to explain to me in chat. I'm reading the chat. You guys tell me. Maybe I'm wrong here. But is Jack Perry really the guy you build around instead of CM Punk? I have a hard time thinking about how anybody could sit there and genuinely think that building around Jack Perry is better business than building around CM Punk. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And by the way, AEW was so sure of it that they leaked the footage of CM Punk's backstage altercation. And I did not see one person that reacted in a way that made CM Punk look bad. A lot of people actually looked at it as like, wait, we got excited for this? So keep in mind that one of the hottest angles in AEW's company right now is the Elite storyline, which it obviously has taken a backstage, a step backwards for some of the other stuff. But that storyline had a lot of momentum, and they were trying to build around Jack Perry. That was very clear. Tony Khan chose Jack Perry over CM Punk. Nobody cares about the storyline anymore. It doesn't matter what backstage segments they have. It doesn't matter what they do on Twitter. But AEW has a decline in ratings. AEW has a decline in attendance. AEW has a decline in overall interest. Perception is reality. And because perception is reality, you have to keep in mind that at this very time, it is all happening under a company that does not have CM Punk employed. CM Punk buried AEW. To be honest with you, he killed AEW. CM Punk leaving AEW has essentially killed AEW. It killed at least a lot of their momentum. A lot of their momentum. And I'm afraid that once you lose somebody's attention, it's incredibly harder to get their attention back. So now what you have seen throughout the last 2 years is that AEW had so much inconsistency in their storytelling, so much drama, and so much negativity, and Tony Khan talking about WWE. And then you got CM Punk at Bash in Berlin taking photos with Triple H. But you know what people will remember? They're going to remember the time when the Young Bucks were dancing around the ring celebrating CM Punk's departure. And so what I think is AEW is in a situation where without CM Punk, people really tuned out. And AEW has to figure out how to be cool again. They have to figure out how to be cool again. The Hangman Page and Swerve storyline is so freaking good. But that's one storyline on a 2-hour show where there is so much more to watch. And I'm sitting here thinking, why can't they put the same amount of focus in other stories? So when you look at AEW and its downfall of ratings and attendance and everything, just understand that it has a lot to do with CM Punk. It does. It has a lot to do with CM Punk being gone. And it has a lot to do with Cody Rhodes being gone. And honestly, I feel like all AEW is, one more key person could leave the company. Maybe it's Kenny Omega. I don't know how invested Kenny is into AEW at this point. He's obviously got bigger things to deal with. But I'm just predicting at some point, I wouldn't be shocked if Kenny were to really explore the option of WWE once he's healthy. I do think that could be a possibility. I could see it very well happening. I think we will get to a point where somebody else who is a major contributor to AEW will leave. And that has to be acknowledged. We have to acknowledge the fact that AEW is in a situation where the interest is low at a time where I think even sometimes what they got going on this year creatively has been really good. That's what's making it more interesting. And I think a lot of wrestling fans who loved CM Punk in AEW, I think they wanted to see what CM Punk would do after. And we all saw CM Punk went to WWE and he's living the life there. And he seems to be really happy over there. And you don't hear about drama over there. And it makes you think about his press conference at All Out when he's talking about Scott Colton. When he's talking to Nick Hausman. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as, man, this is a company that really does have clicks backstage. And there's always so much drama surrounding the company. I think fans got sick of it. But I think the big one was CM Punk, because people knew that CM Punk had his issues with WWE, and they waited years and years and years for him to return to wrestling, and they thought there's no way in hell that this will be an issue in AEW. And it happened in AEW. And then WWE gets a new regime and he goes there and he's absolutely thrilled. Yeah, CM Punk is the reason for AEW's decline. That's the truth.